Sorry. I was lost in a memory for a moment there. How can I help? I have to talk about the Starborn. Do you have a second? You do, right? It was awesome. I already evaluated us for hallucinations or other types of chemical filters, and I found nothing. It could be the dawn of a new era of humanity. Or it could be an elaborate prank or any number of mundane explanations. It's fair. We don't know much about her, but they call themselves Starborn. Doesn't sound that House Varuni to me. But it did sound a little mean, you know? She's unusual by our standards, but our standards only matter to us. That's a smart hypothesis. Makes sense, but we have no observations to really back that up. Yet. Although now that you mention it, I do remember a drunk conversation with a Marine. He swore up and down he was part of an elite crew on some top-secret ship out there. But this is all anecdotal. We just need more data. There has to be a way to draw them out and figure out where they're coming from. We're going to need a way to find them again, or lure them. This could be a turning point for humanity, you know? Or it could be just the emergence of a powerful new faction, or some sort of elite military tech, or a gazillionaire with nothing else to do. All we know is that they wanted that artifact badly. Agreed. That is going to require more observations, more encounters with them. And who knows? Maybe we'll never see them again. Hey, when you're not busy, let's chat. Do you need something? Oh yeah, I do. You may as well have it now.
You know, the way you handle things is, well, mildly interesting at least. Here. So long.
Ah, a face I never met.
Indeed I do. All yours.
Take care of yourself.
Read any good books lately? Hi. Worried? No, I think it's fascinating. I know they maybe seem scary at first, but what if it's just a threat display? You know how lots of species will puff themselves up or show off their teeth and growl to scare off anything they don't like. I don't know. I'm just a kid. I just thought maybe we shouldn't assume the worst. Right. We should just keep an open mind. Sure sounds like we haven't seen the last of them, so I guess we'll see what happens. Bye!
The stock versions are never quite what you want, are they?
Up and away. We're in orbit. What next?
Switching over to standard engines.
Be advised, you are entering United Colony space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Alright, we're done. You're cleared to land at New...
The bright lights and reflections are almost enough to make you forget about those living down in the well. I may not quite enjoy New Atlantis, but this... this is much better. something for personal use or for sale?
Chief Yassine, these orders... A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
It was a mutual agreement, but I suppose you touch on the spirit of it. So, you also know then that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done. No. Each is a strip of several million random numbers generated on the fly based on biometric keys kept by each of the ambassadors on their person at all times. They're impossible to create without those keys, and those keys stay with the ambassadors, meaning we're accessing nothing if we can't get them on our side. It won't be.
Both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun? Ah, the good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
It sounds as though I will enjoy this.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code. Never underestimate the universe's ability to surprise. That's why we have Plan B. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the rest of House Varoon retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varoon thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varoon Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varoon did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy. It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice.
The Zealots do not represent House Baron. I am sure there are many within their society who value the same things we do.
Of course, but there is another wrinkle. We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice. Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
The embassy is still legally House Varoon's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more evasive than you'd expect for a man of his age. But we're quite sure he hasn't left the city. The man stands out. The Varoon delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making it hard for us to verify what's flora and what's ambassador. It would at least be a speedier negotiation, but I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well.
Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
I always enjoy these moments. We will speak again soon, I hope. Yes?
Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
Captain, Admiral Logan informed me of your part in halting the attacks. Whole damn city owes you. Now, what do you need?
I asked my boss what they're doing to stop the new alien attacks on the city. He said top minds were on it. Sure hope they know what they're doing.
I'm sorry, but I need sign-off from the Interstellar Affairs office before I can set foot in there.
You gotta be kidding me. It's plumbing, not a
Ah, yes. They build a monument to the people they lost, but not the people they killed.
Fine. I'll begin the process. Wouldn't want to withhold a chance for more red tape from the great UC.
Working at the embassies is always a nightmare, but you can't beat the pay rate.
Unless you have embassy business, I suggest you move along.
I cannot help but notice that the Colony War Memorial is in direct line of sight of this embassy. I suspect that was very much intentional. I wonder how many times one side or the other has threatened to close this embassy down over the years.
Terramorphs? As in more than one? All that security and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Sorry. Everyone's a little on edge after the attack.
Yes, you need some. I am here if you need me.
That woman is an absolute... Oh, sorry. Oh, what? You're the Vanguard captain, right? You know, I was about to board the Nat to the spaceport when the alarm triggered. Sounds like I got real lucky. And like I've got you to thank for things not being a lot uglier. Doubt the Vanguard would have a lot of recruits if that were the job description. But I'll take your point. But look, they said you were coming here on official business. The ambassador likes to handle all that personally, even if she does have trained diplomats here to help her. And I don't want to get shipped back to Aquila City, so you should probably go speak to her. You want to work with me? Why don't we talk somewhere a bit more private? So you want me to work with you? But why now? Why me? Well, that's convenient. So, these mysterious top UC sources, what do they need someone like me for? The code machine. Only the ambassador's cleared for in there. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right. I was afraid of that. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go? You're really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one chance, one, to convince me. Understood. I'm listening. You know that for sure. That is interesting. It's possible I might be letting my history cloud my judgment. Possibly. The cost of being wrong is a high one. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once. You get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement? Well then, I guess you better get a move on.
Everything good? We're here to help.
Welcome back. Everything going well with the ambassadors? Wait, you got her to agree? Without putting a gun to her head? And all she wants are monitors. Then what are you doing here? Yes, granted, we'll make the arrangements. Heavens above, we'll make them citizens. Just get back there before she changes her mind.